like, glitches or whatever, I might re-ask a question, and but we'll see. It looks like I had good reception strength. So, all right, what up?
Um,
What's up?
does that
What's up?
does that mean it's not actually? Does that mean it's not actually live
Oh
that
no, it's
you
live.
edit?
No, we're live. We're live.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well
What up,
then.
Facebook and
All right.
and YouTube and everybody who watches the interviews? Back with another exciting episode of the JawsAtalk show. Today, I am interviewing one of my homies, an amazing artist, Lucian Moon. I've known Lucian for a multiple amount of years, and I realized that I need to interview Lucian. Um, Extremely talented artist, and I met him skateboarding, and yeah, down in Humboldt, and we've both moved since then. So go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit, man.
Hello, everybody. Lucian Archimedes Moon. Yeah, I've known Anthony for several years now.
Hmm.
And tell me where you're at, Anthony. I thought you were somewhere still in Humboldt.
Yeah, I'm in Ashland, Oregon right now.
Oh, I'm a fan. I
It's
like
mellow.
Ashland, Oregon.
It's mellow. Yeah, it's like a
Oh, I like
postcard.
it. Yeah, yeah, I like it.
Hmm.
All right. Well, yeah. I don't know. I
All right.
guess. Yeah. Ask
Okay.
me a question.
All
Let's
right.
get started.
Cool, cool. So let's start with describe your style a little bit. Describe your art style a little bit.
Boy, I guess that's a hard one since I have so many different genres.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you could say different styles. You might be able to put them. You might be able to recognize them all. But I mean, there's fine art.
Mm-hmm.
I do illustration, which I enjoy a lot. Drawing like my dad says, monsters, and
Mm-hmm.
it's illustration that gets me somewhere, but
Mm-hmm.
doesn't really get me in the galleries. I like to do paintings. I usually work with acrylics.
Mm-hmm.
It's media, but that stuff's fun.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm trying to get myself into galleries. That's kind of where the big money's at.
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of graphic design. So the graphic design side, I guess I got me a day job,
Mm-hmm.
and that one day job where we work together, and
Mm-hmm.
some graffiti happens.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, so there's lots of styles. I don't know.
Okay.
I guess it's eclectic, and I got a lot of influences. So
Uh-huh.
I don't know. Just got to go check it out yourself.
Yeah. Would you say political?
I definitely don't mind being political.
Uh-huh.
I think every artist should be somewhat political
Yeah.
because art is very important.
Yeah. You definitely have figured out a way to like deliver your message pretty well, you know? I mean as an artist myself, I haven't figured that shit out yet. So I definitely am envious when someone can really
Well,
deliver a powerful message like that.
just put it out there.
Yeah.
Just draw your font, your style,
Mm-hmm.
your letters that say "fuck Donald Trump,"
Mm-hmm. Tight,
or
tight.
hey, thanks to all you,
Mm-hmm.
firefighters, first responders. Thank
Mm-hmm.
you.
For sure.
Fight the power.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you know,
Yeah.
get in there,
Right.
get in there, get your toes wet, get
Right.
political.
Right. I'm still working on characters, but I definitely very comfortable with letters. Who are some of your inspirations?
Um, I guess I could say some good influence when I was a kid. For what I pretty much started with was drawing cartoons,
Mm-hmm.
copying comic books. I really got into just copying my favorite comic books, and my favorite of all time was Eastman and Laird's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Mm-hmm.
And the style, the comic books, everything about it was the best, and it was you know, an underground comic book before it became mainstream stuff.
No doubt.
So the Eastman and Laird version of TMNT was big to me, and I read a bunch of Elf's Quest, Transformers, G.I. Joe. I wasn't hot on the superhero stuff. I was really into underground. Probably San Francisco. My mom would take me to underground comic book shops.
Oh, wow. Tight.
And I'd get my hands on some good stuff. And then I got into artists. When I getting a little older, I would find artists that I liked. So Van Bodin, which is big in the graffiti scene. People have used him a lot. So Van Bodin is a big one for me. And then there's probably kind of like my forefathers in graffiti in the Bay Area. Twin. Some other guys I would see around town. Those guys, definitely, I would just love watching their stuff and looking at their stuff around Francisco, the Bay Area. So
yeah, Twist is fucking amazing, man. I like it was like little like Easter eggs finding his little characters all over the place. I think that's definitely hella tight. I can see relation.
Luckily, I got to witness like the I don't know, the height of San Francisco graffiti and influence around that mid-90s, late 90s even. The THR, Reminisce, Meta, Some. Then these KUK kids came out. Those guys were great. I just loved this kind of artistic side of the graffiti scene in the Bay Area.
Yeah. So I have a question. Did you ever like go to school for art?
I did. I did one semester at the Academy of Art in San Francisco.
Okay.
And I learned something. I learned enough. But when I saw how much money it cost and what a business that stuff was, and I mean, I couldn't afford to go any more than just one semester.
No doubt.
So I just stopped and said, you know, I'm just going to go to work, and I'm just going to learn by myself what I can, try and push myself. So that was it.
Okay.
I'm not against school, but I didn't really get much of it.
Sure.
But
sure.
I don't think you don't really need a degree to be an artist.
Right.
So
no, exactly. Exactly. When I hear people say they're going to school for art and I've never known them to be an artist, it kind of makes me laugh. Like, I want to tell them, like, if you want to be an artist, just start doing art. You don't need to go take classes and then say you're an artist. I don't really see how it works like that. How long have you been doing art? You said for a while, right? Since you were younger, whatnot?
Oh, yeah. Since before I could remember.
Okay.
My mom said I was taking crayons and drawing on the walls. And she's got some good examples that she saved. Where I was probably 3, 4. I have no recollection of doing it. So I've been doing art before I could remember.
Tight, dude.
And the stuff I did when I was so little was so good.
No doubt.
I would love to be able to draw
That's
like
funny.
a little kid again.
Right. That's funny. So these are just kind of questions I have not wrote down because you're the homie and I'm thinking of all sorts of other things. What brought you to Humble? Like, I met you through skateboarding, through Satori, and then slowly realized that you did art. And then when I started, hitting up the city and stuff, I then realized like how much of an impact you were on that. And then we pretty much got our names up a little bit together. So what brought you to Humboldt?
I think it was that job working for Satori was probably, I had stumbled across it
Mm-hmm.
over the years, going up to Oregon or something, just
Mm-hmm.
skateboarding.
Mm-hmm.
But when I moved, it was while I was just starting with Craig and
Mm-hmm.
Jedley and Brian Sturgill
Mm-hmm.
was just forming the company,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean it was just an idea. It was out of a garage, and
Mm-hmm.
then a small warehouse,
Mm-hmm.
and so when I went up and started working for Satori, I had no idea where I was. I didn't even know there was like a community, a town, other skateboarders. I thought I was in the middle of the woods. But
Mm-hmm.
then,
No doubt.
as soon as I was around, I started noticing how cool northern Humboldt was. I
Mm-hmm.
really liked
Mm-hmm.
northern side of Humboldt, and I'm from northern Bay Area,
Right.
so I was so close. I just didn't think there was much going on
Right.
much north, and then realized if you go so much north to where you're just so far from the bay,
Right.
you get a whole nother community. And I mean, I found so much cool stuff.
Right.
I wouldn't mind being back in Humboldt right now.
No doubt. No doubt. Yeah, yeah. You're definitely right. It definitely kind of has its own ecosystem in a way, like even in the hip hop culture, like obviously there's graph writers up there. There's definitely like hip hop heads up there. There's definitely a skate scene up there. So it's pretty interesting. And
Yeah,
you,
it's a little mini Bay Area. It's
mm-hmm,
got
yeah,
a
right,
bay. It's got little sections to it. It's
right,
great. But
right. So when you,
let's not tell everybody because we don't want everybody moving there.
right. So, when you linked with Satori, was it through art or was it through skateboarding?
First, it was skateboarding.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Hopefully, are you hearing wind? I'm getting a wind
A little
noise.
bit, but it's not too bad.
Okay. Yeah. So first, I started skateboarding for Satori.
Mm-hmm.
I met Craig, and he
Mm-hmm.
was kind of like a team manager type at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And so me and my other buddy Jesse Hotchkiss
Mm-hmm.
were living in Cisco, and I was really trying to go for it,
Mm-hmm.
skateboarding, being a sponsored skateboarder,
Mm-hmm.
filming, taking pictures, and so then Craig was just like, "Hey man, I like your stuff, I like your style. You just want to get some wheels?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Hey, can I do some artwork on these wheels?"
Right.
And it just formed from, "Hey, let me draw a couple of cool things." And I didn't even know how to use a computer or
Mm-hmm.
design.
Mm-hmm.
So it was pretty interesting to me. I was like, "Hey, can I get part of the design side?"
Mm-hmm.
So I slowly started just getting my artwork on it, and it turned from sponsored to, "Hey, want to be the artist?" Then it became, "All right, we're legit now. Want to be the art director?"
Right.
So it just grew
Damn.
naturally, and it worked out.
Yeah.
I grew myself a job for 10 years and traveled the world.
Mm-hmm.
It was amazing times, and yeah,
Tight.
the best of skateboard years was probably during those times.
Right. Right. You almost you're a fantastic skater, but it's also like you could almost like you could almost skip a few steps that a lot of people would have to go through. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know I felt the same way when I was working with Craig just a few years ago. It's like I didn't really have to skate as much or as harder as I needed to like travel to LA. You know what I'm saying? So it was like,
Yeah, get part of the industry.
yeah,
You don't have to be that. You don't have to be that piece of meat up and downstairs on
right,
handrails.
right,
You gotta, pull your weight.
right. No, exactly. So very tight,
Yeah.
very tight.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go back to the questions that I have written down. What's some of the best advice that let's stick to art. The best advice someone has given you for art.
Oh, let's see. I like one of my favorite quotes that a good friend of mine that I went to high school with, Nate Van Dyke,
Mm-hmm.
his advice is don't ever do one-night shows.
Oh, okay.
At
Interesting.
first, in San Francisco, they pop up all the time. People are like, hey, I've got this night at this bar,
Mm-hmm.
Want to start up.
Mm-hmm.
And Nate was already pretty established, and I was kind of coming up. I'm still trying to come up in the fine arts side.
Mm-hmm.
But he was like, hey, don't do one-night shows. You're the circus act in somebody else's circus.
Right.
And nobody buys the art. People are just partying. The promoter just tries to get people through the door using you as the gimmick. Your shit will get knocked down, or it belittles your artwork.
Mm-hmm.
So because when that clicked, I was like, oh, that's kind of philosophy you should use.
Mm-hmm.
People are gonna maybe use your stuff as a gimmick, and then also Immortal Techniques words. He's like, you're gonna use me. The promoter's gonna use me as a gimmick and not pay me. I cook your food. I put it on the table, but you want me to eat with you.
Right.
Now I'm paying your light bills. I'm coming after you, motherfucker.
Right.
Yeah. But personally, I would say if you're an artist, just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about the money, the fame.
Right.
You just do it because you have to.
Right.
If you're a true artist, you have to do it, so just do it. But also learn. Learn, go outside of your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
Check out other people's stuff. Be humble.
Mm-hmm.
It's intimidating when somebody's so good.
Right.
You look at their stuff and you're like, oh, maybe I'll just stick to my little niche.
Yeah, that's me 100%.
Once you get comfortable, it's tempting. I know a lot of artists that are kind of pigeonhole, or they're gimmicky. They're very gimmicky.
Mm-hmm.
They have one style, and they got fame on that one style, but they can't do anything else. And it's like, are you a true, well-rounded artist, or are you just really good at painting a circle?
Right.
You can't paint a square.
Right.
So,
well,
I'd say always stay uncomfortable, always trying to learn. And, right now, I've got 5 projects.
Mm-hmm.
Got my house, and they're all shit that I haven't perfected.
Mm-hmm.
So it's uncomfortable, but that's how you're going to get better.
For sure.
So stay uncomfortable, kid.
Dope. I like that. It definitely helps me out. I know I'm that person that's still working on circles, and I'm finally tapping into squares. Like you said, I'm doing a lot more characters, and I'm figuring out a whole lot more behind that. But letters are, my comfort zone.
I've seen your stuff evolve. It's amazing.
Tight.
When I look at your stuff now, I'm like, nah, that's not that same kid.
Tight. I'm doing something right then. Shoot.
I've got that little dog kid. Oh, that's little thing. Awesome.
Tight. Yeah, I'm working on it. Definitely trying, Still a lot to learn, but. All right, you're kind of breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, well.
All right, that sounds.
I'm living in Northern California, North Bend. Half of my cities are burning on fire right now.
Yeah, dude, I've seen pictures, man. This shit's fucking crazy.
Yeah, the East Coast got it, and I was like, eventually the West Coast.
Right.
Here it is. We are on fire right now.
Yeah, it's wild. One side is flooding and the other side is burning. It's so fucked up, man.
Yeah, it's apocalyptic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Al Gore tried to warn us.
Mm-hmm.
It's happening.
Right. All right. Let's see. Seems like I got audio coming in a little bit better. Where do you? I know you mentioned this a little bit, but just elaborate more if you can think of anything. Where do you envision your craft going, or what would you ultimately like to do with it?
Boy, I don't know. I guess I'd like to get it, no matter what it is, whether it's paint, illustration, design.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to get it. It's back on the front burner. I'd like to get it so that I don't have to do a day job.
Mm-hmm.
This is a night job, even though I work as a bartender at night and I do art during the day. So,
Right.
bills with art.
Mm-hmm.
It's happened before. I
Right.
can do it.
Right. Right.
That's what I'm hoping next.
Tight. Tight. Dude, it's such a funny process being an artist. Like, not too long ago, I read somewhere that like being an artist is one of the most like well-paying jobs if you get it, figured out. And it took me, I did the math, I think 15 years to get to the point where I'm at now. Obviously I still work, but I literally just a couple weeks ago sold enough art to pay rent. You know what I'm saying? And there was like a milestone. And I definitely
Yeah.
saw like a light at the end of the tunnel, so it's very interesting reality. Very interesting reality.
I guess going there, been there,
Mm-hmm.
hustling art, trying to sell it like fine art to pay the bills is not fun.
Mm-hmm.
I've tried that because even if you do get enough sold to where you pay the rent, there's always those people that are like, oh, I'll give you the money next week, or
Right.
I'll pay you when I can afford it.
Right.
I'm sitting there going, yeah, the landlord needs this money.
Right.
Like, I can't tell the landlord like, oh, I'll give you this painting.
Exactly. Exactly.
Here,
Yeah,
pay
it's
these bills with hopes and prayers.
right. Right. It's very strange because it's like obviously buyers are out there, but just reaching those buyers is the challenge, part of the whole thing. And like,
Hustle. It's a hustle I don't want to do again.
right. Right.
But even when the art is just a day job, like when I was doing Satori or doing graphic design, or
Mhm.
sitting at a desk,
Mm-hmm.
that's a hard one to do because that's turning your art into a machine.
Mm-hmm.
You're in your this like personal spark desire to do art, and then you have to pump it into a machine
Right.
that's hungry, and it drains you.
Mm-hmm.
It drains the soul. So after 10 years at Satori, my soul was drained.
Mm-hmm.
The proof that it just doesn't allow you to really be your own artist
Right.
when you put it in your job
Right.
is I didn't produce any actual fine art
Right.
of my own at all. For 10 years, there was no, oh, let me see your art.
Right.
Oh, well, here's a T-shirt. Here's a sticker. Here's a skateboard.
Right.
It's got somebody's name on it, and it's got
Yeah.
somebody's company, and it's, got some theme of, blood, snot, the whole brain's coming out the ear stuff.
Right. Yeah, that's something that, I mean, again, like I said, I met you as a skateboarder before I knew you as an artist. That's definitely something that, like I saw your Satori artwork and it never really occurred to me how much better of an artist you were until, I think it was through like the graph scene. I was like, oh, crazy. You know what you're doing, because like I didn't know. I was like, you're like hella dope. And then even after that is when I actually got to see more of your real art, and I was just blown away. So it's crazy, man.
Well, it was hard to see back then.
Mm-hmm.
Any inspiration I had to go straight into the computer
Right.
and onto a graphic, and
Right.
it was amazing. I mean, it was the best thing. It was what I wanted my
Right.
whole life.
Right.
A young skateboarder,
Yeah.
a young little kid. I just want my art on a skateboard.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time it was, I was like, wow, dreams come true.
Right. Right.
And so I now have, and I still have. I tried to save samples.
Mm-hmm.
So I have, a great library of art,
Mm-hmm.
graphics I've saved. So,
Mm-hmm.
it was a win. It was what I wanted to accomplish.
Yeah.
Now I've got other things I want to accomplish.
Right. All right. Now, evolving from that conversation, break down Yellow for a second.
Okay. Well, Yellow brand skateboards was kind of my own skateboard idea for a company. So luckily I got a chance to put that out.
Mm-hmm.
Yellow, I don't know. Way back in the day, it was an idea I had where it was kind of making fun of very, very kind of a dark, gloomy, political scene that, I came across this when I was young, like 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Bill picked up on it, and it was like this kind of just dark days, and I didn't know anything about government, and it was an idea where I had a grocery store, Cala Foods, next to my house when I was a little kid, and they had an aisle, and this is like 85. This is before they came up with this stuff, and everybody sees it now. But the Cala Foods had their own brand name, and they made a generic. They made a generic version of every product in their store and sold it cheaper so that they could get more profit. And their whole idea, I guess, was to have every one of their products plain yellow.
Interesting.
Black font.
Huh.
So, I remember as a little kid, I went down the aisle going, why is this whole aisle yellow?
No doubt.
It's so bizarre. And every time I see these images of, like, dark communistic days, all this, government rations, I think of that aisle I went down where everything's generic and you just have to pick up a box that says macaroni and cheese.
Right.
Or, a can that says beer.
No doubt.
So that was the idea. That was the first image, was all yellow skateboard that just said yellow brand.
Very interesting.
I went straight to it. I went, okay, this is like a pop art.
Yeah.
Poking fun at a very scary, dark, real, thing. So, from there, I jumped on a bunch of artists that I respected. Pulled out a bunch of art. Did a lot of, I think it's Robert Williams. Kind of like, I was very into Dead Kennedys punk when I was in high school, and I can't remember the artist that does a lot of the Dead Kennedys. Anyways, a lot of the punk rock images were, very political in the 80s. And so I used the style that would kind of connect to that stuff. Because that's kind of a, similar fight, similar message. And similar fight, similar message right now.
That was more...
So, yeah, Yellow Door came up. I got a chance to sponsor people I wanted. I got a chance to use artists that I liked. I think we pulled off a good job of coming off with that whole theme
Mm-hmm.
through all the images. I'm really impressed with my team. Shouts out to Ryan Nix, John Buchanan, Adam Crew, Dave Abear,
Mm-hmm.
Yo Cookie. Let's see, yeah. Thanks, Joe Perrin, for all the video and great editing.
Mm-hmm.
And the artist,
Mm-hmm.
Nate Van Dyke, did a couple of great graphics for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, write that name. Definitely seen his art before. All right. Let's see. What was I gonna say about that? Oh yeah, that was something that you would just mention like during the early stages of Yellow. Like I had asked you why you named it Yellow, and you didn't tell me that backstory, but you were virtually like it's very an eye-catching color. You know.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah.
There's plenty of marketing
Right.
behind it.
Right.
My gimmick, which was great, I think I almost had it, is the idea was the imagery would be like mass production, cheap,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a pop art version of just like a generic brand,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, a win-win. I actually go generic and make cheap products,
Mm-hmm.
save money in colors and
Mm-hmm.
different, I don't have to go high end.
Right.
And so the buyer is like, hey, this is cool. It's fun, generic.
Right.
And it's just making fun of that stuff.
Right.
And yet it can actually be produced. So it was like a funny irony where I could actually go generic
Mm-hmm.
and make the joke that it's generic. And everybody wins.
Right.
I didn't skimp on quality, but
Right.
I only had to use two colors, yellow and black.
Right. Right. Now I definitely know you had a run of some much more intricate art. Maybe like a John Buchanan board or something.
Megan Kimber did some good stuff for me.
Mm-hmm.
You got to check out Megan Kimber's art.
What's his name?
Her name is Megan Kimber.
Oh.
You got to check out her art. You'll see you'll recognize the style.
Cool. I wrote it down. I'll definitely look into her. Cool. All right. So, again, you've mentioned this a little bit, but talk more about it a little bit. Mediums you use, equipment, favorite, products and stuff like that you use for your art.
Let's see. Mediums, I definitely go cheap and generic. I pretty much only use the very cheap acrylics.
Okay.
And, boy, I would use a lot of found objects to paint on.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been trying to go a little higher just to get my artwork to end up a little better.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
now I'm learning about archival kids is a great thing to think about, because if you're going to make a piece of art and actually sell it to somebody and then it falls apart in 2 or 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you got to think about that.
Right.
So I've been learning, actually, from day one, I've been learning all these mistakes. There's so many mistakes that have been made.
No doubt.
You should paint on a quality object with quality paint.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I've learned.
Mm-hmm.
Because you end up losing good art because it just falls apart.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But and materials and what?
Equipment. Materials.
I guess you could say it's always some stock tips and
Mm-hmm.
Osh cans.
Okay. All right.
I think we used to have. There was a Home Depot brand.
Mm-hmm.
They fell apart or something. I don't know. Remember, we used to use some silver and black.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's all
Oh,
about
yeah.
silver and black. I can't remember what cans we were using, but now it's only Osh cans.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. When's the last time you went out and painted?
You know, fill-ins have been a while,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel pretty bad about that. But there's always a sticker and always a tag.
Right. Tight. Tight. I definitely want to touch on using quality. Like I mentioned the other, well, that was loud. The other week, I had, got that significant payment. I went out and bought more art supplies, and you can definitely feel the durability and the difference in things. I mean, as opposed to like
Yeah.
if I was just trying to get by, like you can feel like how much lighter the canvases I bought previously as opposed to the canvases I buy now. You can feel like they're just stapled together a lot, or used better wood. So it does make a difference for all the new kids out there looking for tips and inspiration. Definitely, it's worth the extra couple dollars for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes you just got to do adult things. You
Mm-hmm.
got to get your space organized. I mean, every time you're just like antsy. You don't put some paper down. You don't put you don't take off your good clothes, and you end up with paint on your good shit. You end up with paint all over your house. You're like, if I just organized myself a little better, if I just took the time, I
Mm-hmm.
could have done this right. But
Right.
you get energy, you know.
Have you have you ever used oils?
No, yeah, I've tried once or twice, and I'm just allergic to oil paints. I'm not.
No doubt.
I think I say that I'm going to use oils when I'm old and I don't move much
Uh-huh.
because oils are just slow drying and
Yes.
slow, tedious, and my stuff is really it's really fast paced. I guess
Uh-huh.
my situation is not. It's not slow and tedious right now.
Right. Right. Um,
Nor is it everything.
well, like you just mentioned, like getting paint on your clothes. Like oils are more messy. I started with oils. Like I said, when I bought all these more art supplies, I bought acrylics because I a lot of people use acrylics, but when I started painting, I started with oils. So I'm very, very comfortable with oils. I like having more time. And even like on big canvases, I can't use acrylics because they dry too quick for me. I prefer oils. But just touching back on it is messy. If your oils touch something, like you can eventually clean it up slowly, as opposed to like acrylics. If it gets on something, you can clean it up pretty easy. So it's kind of an interesting difference between the two. But I like oils. And since I started using acrylics, I've been mixing them a lot. Like doing a acrylic base and then going back over with oils. So
All
mixed
right,
media,
that's a technique. Okay.
mixed media, and most of my backgrounds are spray paint too. So um, tight, tight. It's good to hear that. Let's see. So what's some of the greatest experiences that art has brought you?
Boy. Well, I'd say the day job.
Mm-hmm.
I pretty much had a day job
Mm-hmm.
and working for Satori, whether it was actually skateboarding or just doing the graphics.
Mm-hmm.
It took me around the world. So best is getting to see the most amazing things, traveling the world
Mm-hmm.
with amazing people.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anything compares to that. And a lot of it was skateboarding and the artwork.
Mm-hmm.
And I continued just because I always had something to offer. I did a lot of filming,
Mm-hmm.
so at that job, filming skateboarding.
Mm-hmm.
Took me around the world too.
Right.
And it was some amazing experiences.
Nice.
Maybe there'll be a Vice documentary on it.
Right.
Bowels of the movement.
Tight.
Pat Odell, I want you to hit me up. I've got the footage. We've got the photo.
Tight.
We will see. We will show you the bowels of
Tight.
the hippie movement in skateboarding.
Right. Awesome.
You want it. You want it, Pat Odell.
I'm sure it brought it taught you. I'm sure. I mean, obviously, it just taught you a new side of art and where to bring it and how to manipulate it and stuff like that. Yeah. Would you say?
Say that again.
So I'm sure just working for Satori, I know it was like a different way of using your art, but it just kind of taught you or like put a new like angle on like how to get your art out there and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, before I started there, I didn't even really know how to use a computer.
Mm-hmm.
So
Tight.
now I'm very fluent,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been doing it since the old classic environment when
Tight.
my laptop looked like a toilet lid.
No doubt.
So yeah, it taught me all the skills. I learned all the skills I
Mm-hmm.
have to do graphic design in the big world.
Right. Nice. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, and then
I'm a big fan of. Instead of paying to learn, you should get paid to learn.
for sure. Go.
Get the job, learn the skills on the job, ask a lot of questions.
Mm-hmm. Questions, definitely. And then the flip side of that question, what is some like challenging or like the worst experiences art has brought you?
Challenges, work experiences. Boy, I don't know. There's not much. Knock on wood. I haven't been caught for yet. That's the one. That's the one. I'm doing good.
Tight.
I could say I'm frustrated every day on how much artwork and graphics I've done for other people, and I don't get paid for.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
How many graphics out there that are owed.
Right. Yeah. No, it's a real thing. It's definitely a reality. That
People that have some unpaid tabs.
Right. Exactly. I actually have a few of those as well that I'm dealing with. So.
Yeah, that's the big part of it. You got a bunch of people, because art is, especially in the design world, art is like as soon as you put it out there and somebody looks at it, it's pretty much stolen.
Yeah.
So you have to figure out how to copyright it socially, right there in the moment. Whoever you're working with, whoever you're trying to, I don't know, get a job, do something with, as soon as you show them something, it's out there.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
A lot of stuff is just got to let it go, because it's
so,
out there.
Did you ever meet...
There's a big list of shame.
Right. Did you ever meet Rob Moore's Spock?
What?
Did you ever meet Rob? He wrote Moors and Spock.
I don't know.
All right.
Humboldt?
Yeah, Humboldt.
I probably came across him, but I don't really remember.
For sure. Well, he's one of the biggest inspirations I moved into painting on canvas. But he just like not too long ago was like, I'm going to start putting a watermark on everything I put online. And I think that's...
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah.
It's a good idea. At the same time, what I was saying is, like, as soon as you put it out there, somebody can see it, and then they know it.
Right.
So they can just recreate it.
Right. Very
themselves.
True. Very true.
That's what I'm dealing with, is every graphic I've done, there's a worse version that somebody paid somebody else less for.
Right. Right. I think that's kind of why I like my style, like, because nobody can really figure it out quite yet. You know, one of these days I'll do like a Jaws Ross show and like break it down so people can try to imitate it, but maybe in a few years.
Yeah, yeah. That's what's good about the fine art is that, you know, you do it and the original is the original.
Yeah.
And people, the original.
Mm-hmm.
About your style, but
Right.
you can see the paint on the canvas.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. And I just want to note with that statement, another reason why I like oils, because I feel like I can get them a lot smoother. For some reason, I can't get my acrylics smooth and fluent. I feel like with oils, it's like consistent. So that's just another.
Yeah, the best part. Yeah, oils you can fade,
Mm-hmm.
you can blend, and the colors are amazing in oil.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a way, and I guess it's very much better for archival.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I think it fit your style. I think it fit your style. When you do jump into it, I think you're gonna like it, and you know, so I can't wait to see that.
Wait for my life.
For sure.
Maybe soon. Maybe my life will slow down soon.
For sure. All right. What are some projects you're working on, or next things you have scheduled?
Let's say I've got a serious clothing brand.
Okay.
That I'm working on, and it is scheduled to be released very soon.
Okay.
And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Nice. Awesome, man.
I'm definitely doing lots of art projects.
Mm-hmm.
One is very cool that I'd like to spread the word on, and it's I've been trying to get all my friends to do artwork
Mm-hmm.
on little canvases, little frames, and I've been nailing them up in the woods. So I've been making all these little pictures, and I've been going out onto the trails and trying to hang it on only man-made stuff.
Okay.
And get all my friends on it. When you walk down the trail and you do a little hike in the woods, nature, you also get to go through an art gallery.
That is so dope.
So I've been calling it open space galleries. And you walk down the trail and you go, oh, look, that's a nice piece of art. Then you walk down, you see another one. Oh, look at that.
That's so
it's a win-win.
That's awesome. Where have you put some stuff up so far?
Just in my neighborhood out in West Marin.
West Marin, tight.
And yeah, I'm out in San Geronimo Valley by Fairfax, California.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways.
Tight.
It's a fun project.
That's another.
I thought it was,
Yeah.
Anyway, it's fun.
Hell yeah. That's another thing I'd like to note to everybody. Lucian is a very innovative, creative person. So stuff like that, like he thinks different. You think very different, and it's inspiring, man. It's hella dope. Hella dope. Cool. Do you have any other shows, lined up or anything like that?
I have some artwork in downtown Santa Fe at the surf and skate shop, Proof Lab.
Oh, thanks.
There's been a lot of shows my buddy's been setting up. Kip has been doing these things called Near Future Ago art shows. You can see all of our past. I think we're at like 20 something.
Oh wow. So
on Facebook, he's got all these events, and you can look at all the photos, and the shows have been ending up really good. They're just big group shows. Everybody's welcome.
Awesome.
So those are fun. I'm still kind of trying to get that giant one solo show. So
sure.
In the Bay Area, somebody holler at me. I've got the art.
Tight.
Let's have a grand old show.
For sure.
But everybody check out on the Facebook the Near Future Ago art shows. You will see some really good art and some pictures of some good old times.
Near Future Ago.
near future ago.
All right, cool. I like that. It's a good name. It's a good title. Cool. All right, let's see. So, another question that was briefly answered. Words of wisdom to the younger generation.
Words of wisdom. Oh boy.
You mentioned a
Let's
few
see.
things. But I just wanted to reiterate.
Let me leave it like my high school quote. You should test your government, not your urine. Never use a hatchet to remove a fly from your friend's forehead.
Tight. Excellent.
That's my high school quote.
Tight.
And in the words of Willy Wonka, you know, if the good Lord meant us to walk, he wouldn't have invented roller skates.
Tight. Dope. Sweet. All right. Let's see. As an artist, I got like few more questions. Other than being an artist and skateboarder, what are other things you're into?
Oh, let's see. I am a pretty big nerd. I like movies.
Mm-hmm.
I like Star Wars. I like
I like Star Wars.
fantasy. I like cartoons, and I really like video games.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, you put those all together, and that's my video game genre. I like video games that are fun.
Uh-huh.
I don't sit online at Call of Duty and talk about my problems with strangers while I do headshots at camp.
So for all of the other video game players, what's like your top like three favorite video games?
Gotta shouts out to Rockstar Video Games and their Grand Theft Autos.
Okay.
Gotta love them.
Okay.
Then I got really into Assassin's Creed.
Oh,
I
really?
played all
Okay.
the Assassin's Creed.
Nice.
Love those.
I just started playing
so you know my
Assassin's
style
Creed.
already. So I like Assassin's Creed. I like what do you call it? GTA.
Mm-hmm.
I like all the Batman, Gotham,
Okay.
Arkham, Gotham's, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite of all time that I just finished was The Last of Us.
Oh, interesting. I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, it's out of nowhere. It's got no, connection to a movie or anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's just an amazing game.
Nice.
Everything about it is great.
Nice.
And I really liked those last two Max Paynes.
Okay. Excellent. I played Max Payne years ago, but I don't really remember it. Well, that's definitely new information. I didn't know you were into video games like that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm waiting for my new controller so I can play my new game on a PS3.
What are some old games that you liked? Like, did you like Zelda? Did you like Mario?
Oh man, I was back in the arcade game
Mm-hmm.
days. I would go down to the arcade
Mm-hmm.
and I would play Gauntlet.
Yes.
Dig Dug.
Gauntlet was so fucking fun. I remember playing that at the arcade.
Oh yeah, I loved all those old ones.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Mario Brothers,
Mm-hmm.
Super Mario Brothers. Those were arcade games for Nintendo kids.
Oh yeah. Did you like the Ninja Turtle games?
Starbase. Shouts out to Starbase.
Uh-huh.
Shouts out to Starbase. San Rafael. R.I.P.
Yeah, for sure.
Good job, Video Bob.
Were you in Humble when shit, I fucking forgot the name. Tiffany's was there? That was the arcade there for a minute.
No.
All right. What'd you think of the Ninja Turtle games? You said you were a Ninja Turtle, the the comic book fan.
They had a good one when years ago, where it was like The Simpsons, where it was 4 characters and
Yeah.
just beat. It was kind of like a Double Dragon.
Yeah.
Go sideways. Character that's in front of you. Yeah, those are great.
Yeah, tight.
Although, I'm definitely let down again with Michael Bay's bullshit.
Well,
Turtles movies.
right.
But I knew that was coming. I
For
saw
sure.
that coming a mile away.
For sure.
They ruined Transformers.
Right. I was thinking about like eventually. Ninja Gaiden.
Don't worry about it, kids. Just watch the movie. It's called The Island.
The Island. Oh, that's a good movie. You didn't like that?
Oh, I did. Michael Bay did a good job with
Oh, okay. Yeah. I liked that movie. I was actually thinking about it the other day. I was thinking
Very good.
I wanted to do.
Not to be mistaken with The Beach, which is a really good movie. Leonardo DiCaprio.
Say the movie name again?
The Beach.
The Beach. I haven't seen that.
Oh, come on. With Ducky. No offense, but you're a little fucked in the head, right?
I'm gonna have to watch it. I just wrote it down.
Oh, man. It's the best Leonardo DiCaprio movie of all time.
Nice. Okay.
He's mentally insane on an island, and he's like wearing a fucked and independent shirt in the movie.
Oh, dope.
Before anybody knew about that.
Wow. Nice. All right, yeah, I'm gonna have to check that one out. All right, so the next thing I have is there anything else you'd like to say or raise awareness on or rant about, such as,
Yeah, I definitely. I want to leave it at this. My rant is: shouts out to Colin Kaepernick, shouts out to Eminem, shouts out to all those activists out there. You're doing a good job. Even late night host, you are the front line of this battle.
damn.
And I want to say, fuck Donald Trump, fuck Trump supporters. If you voted for him, blood's on your hands, and you better freaking cleanse your soul by doing a lot of charity these days.
Damn. Real talk,
That's
man.
That's about it.
I salute that for sure.
But email,
What's that?
nothing.
All right, and then the last question is, how can people reach you, follow you, get your products, and stuff like that? Contact you.
Yes. Shouts out to me.
Yes.
I actually have a website.
Oh, really?
I do. For the first time, it is called revolution.com, revolutiondesign.com. And it's spelled REVOLUCIAN, design.com. So,
Excellent.
you can see my
I
stuff.
like that.
And I have some social media at the moment. You can find me on Instagram at Lucian Moon, the number 1. And I have several Facebook pages.
Down.
Where I am.
So Revo-Lucians. Had an alarm going off. Revo-Lucian Designs at Facebook and revolutiondesign.com. REVOLUCIAN. So I'll go ahead and tag that in the upload as well. Awesome, man. That's all I got. Thank you very much, man. I hella appreciate you doing this. It's awesome talking to you. It's been a minute. If you ever have another art show and you want me to contribute, I'm in a better situation where I can do that. So.
I will. I'll hit you up.
Cool.
Have it. I'm down here.
Dope.
All right. Well, let me know if you ever come this way.
I will. I actually should be down there like November 18th, I think, is we have something scheduled. So